Alright, today we're going to be looking at inequalities, and inequalities are basically a relationship rather than saying that two things are equal, that they're less than or greater than and equal to or less than and equal to, and the idea is to specify values which are solutions within a range rather than just an individual solution. So we can specify or we can illustrate an inequality using a number line, and we'll do that in this video right here. So let's get started with our first one, A. We have x is greater than minus 4. How do we know it's greater than? Well, we read these as basically the symbol in which this is pointing towards is the lesser number, right? We can also reverse this and it has the same meaning. So in this case, negative 4 is less than x. These are equivalent, so x is greater than minus 4 and negative 4 is less than x. In both cases we're pointing from the larger quantity to the smaller quantity. Now, in order to draw this as a number line, basically just start off with a line. Now all we need to do is start putting in some values. So we know this is going to be x is greater than minus 4. What does that mean? It means if we start off at minus 4, and we'll add in minus 5 here as well, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1, what we can say is that every value greater than negative 4 is going to be a solution. That's everything greater than minus 4. Alright, now it's important to note that I've left this little circle here empty because it doesn't include negative 4. Everything greater than negative 4, every value in between these two values on the number line, is going to be included, but everything else equal to negative 4 and below it is not going to be included. If we were to include it, we would use greater than or equal to, and then I would color this in. Alright, let's look at B. So for B, we have x is less than 6. Again, pointing from the larger quantity to the greater one. So x is less than 6. Again, draw yourself a quick line. Now, you can add some arrows at the end of this to indicate that the line continues. And let's start at 6. So maybe start 6 here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, so we're less than 6. We can't be equal to 6. So I'm going to put an empty circle. And then every single value less than 6 is going to solve this inequality or be a representation of this on the number line. If we look at C, we have x is greater than or equal to 0. So just draw a pretty basic number line, give it a couple of arrows, and then you can do values greater than 0. So you can start negative if you would like. So greater than or equal to 0. So everything that is greater than or equal to 0 means we color in that circle, and then we use the arrow to indicate that every single value past that point and equal to 0 will be a solution or will be something within the range we're looking for. Okay, finally let's look at D. We have x is less than or equal to negative 2. So if we draw ourselves a nice little line, give it a couple of arrows. Remember, it doesn't have to include every single whole number or integer. It just has to be representative so that people kind of understand what you're getting at. Right, so -2. So less than or equal to -2. Maybe let's start at something like 0, -1, -2, -3. Okay, so less than or equal to means we're going to go including -2, and negative x is going to be every single value below that point. Alright, that's it for this video. Hopefully it's helpful, and I will see you in the next one.